Special thanks to War Thunder for sponsoring this video.
Friend of Ugnaught Quill, you will answer our questions and help us with our task. I have spoken. The stories of Ugnaughts' skill with smithing droids are legendary. We know that Ugnaughts are considered the hardest working species in the galaxy.
What's up, meta nerds? This breakdown is going to pull from every resource available, decades of lore, to completely understand this unique little species. The Ugnaughts trace their origins to the remote world of Gentes, a harsh outer rim planet in the Ugnaught sector, K-18 on the galactic map. Once home to numerous Ugnaught clans, Gentes offered a less than hospitable environment with expansive deserts and barren wastelands. Scattered swamps do dot the surface, but overall their resources are very sparse. Xenobiologists speculate that the unforgiving conditions shaped the Ugnaughts' legendary resilience, feeding on legendary Genti slugs and hardy fungi, which thrive beneath Genti's surface, as early Ugnaughts likely survived by rooting in underground burrows and dank caves in order to escape the extreme climate. Their squat, stocky builds may have evolved under Genti's gravity and arid air. A compact stature conserves energy and water, and a sturdy frame endures high gravity or tough labor. But there is quite a range on their height, from 1 to 1.6 meters, or 3 to 5 feet, but overall even the tallest are shorter than most humanoid species. Thick layers of skin and jowls store fat and moisture, crucial for a species scraping by in Genti's deserts and bogs. Even the Ugnaughts' visual system might reflect their homeworld, as they favor red light, and scientists think this might trace back to Genti's sun or volcanic glow. Just like if some humans lived on a spaceship, they might want something that mimicked the sun, white light and a blue sky. Daytime on Gentes meant red light, and so this is mimicking a beautiful day. While Gentes is the Ugnaughts' homeworld, countless of them consider Bespin's Cloud City as their second home. Long ago, when Ecclesi's Fig, a Corellian lord and entrepreneur, began constructing Cloud City as a floating Tabanagas colony on Bespin, he specifically sought out Ugnaught labor. Impressed by their fastidious work ethic, Fig hired multiple Ugnaught clans to help build the city's complex infrastructure. In exchange for their tireless efforts, the Ugnaught workers were rewarded with freedom and even granted sections of Cloud City's lower levels to settle. Grateful and industrious as ever, the Ugnaughts made these undercity levels their own. They constructed labyrinthine, humid, red-lit tunnels all throughout Cloud City, environments where only Ugnaughts navigated with ease. These dimly lit domains, reminiscent of Genti's caves, helped the Ugnaught colonists feel at home, even if suspended in the clouds on some far-off gas giant. To this day, Cloud City's maintenance and mechanical operations benefit from generations of Ugnaught knowledge passed down in these tunnels. Cloud City's temperate, artificial atmosphere is far gentler than Genti's, but that's why the Ugnaughts stick to their tunnels. And there are other settlements beyond Bespin, spread all throughout the galaxy due to historical displacement, but wherever they live, they are always described by others as being hardy. When you get a good look at them, you realize they're these small, porcine humanoids, short pig-like people. Most are dwarfed by your average human, and some are unsettled by their thick pink skin and small, slightly upturned nostrils at the end of their stubby nose. The boar similarities extend even to their small tusks, and the coarse white or gray hair found along their heads or along their cheeks. And although they look a bit pudgy, they're deceptively strong and resilient, evolved to withstand long periods of discomfort and constantly digging into the earth in order to find food. And often they were fighting each other. There are things like their ritual combat known as blood duels, in which those tusks were turned against their rivals. Ugnaught eyes range in color from black, brown, or green, and they are well adapted to dim light. And so you could imagine if you could go back in time and see their most primitive ancestors, they were dwelling in dark caves, bands of squealing pig people, fighting each other for resources, impaling each other in hopes of becoming the next pudgy pink short king. What is really unique is that they have a remarkable long lifespan, around 200 standard years.
I bought my freedom through the skill of my hands and the labor of 3 of your human lifetimes.
War Thunder is the ultimate vehicle combat game, free to play right now on PC, consoles, and mobile. Command over 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships from 10 major nations, spanning everything from 1920s biplanes and armored cars to cutting-edge fighter jets and modern main battle tanks. Step into the chaos of battle with stunningly detailed vehicles, lifelike visuals, and immersive sound design that puts you directly in the cockpit, turret, or bridge of history's most powerful war machines. Join a global community of more than 95 million players and massive PvP clashes, and experience the unmatched depth and variety War Thunder has to offer. For anyone passionate about military history or high-intensity combat, there really is nothing else like it. My favorite parts have always been the incredible detail. There's something truly unique here. You're not firing at simple hitboxes, but each vehicle is modeled down to individual components, like the engine, fuel tanks, etc., and so these specific parts can be damaged independently. Combine that with munitions that damage in unique ways, they're better against different types of threats, and the X-ray view that shows exactly how you or your enemy's vehicle was destroyed. Like an after-action autopsy replay cam. It's all just perfect for this type of vehicle accuracy-obsessed gameplay. The best part, War Thunder is completely free to play on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and even mobile. Just use my links down in the description or the pinned comment to sign up. If you're new or just haven't played in the last 6 months, you get an exclusive bonus pack on PC and console to help kickstart your progress. That includes 3 premium vehicles, a 50% boost to both experience and income, 2 advanced vehicles that you can try out, 100,000 silver lions, and 7 days of premium account time, plus a bunch of other things. This offer won't be around forever, so make sure to grab it while you can. And when they were in eras of peace and spreading throughout the galaxy, this long lifespan combined with their good work ethic allowed them to accumulate knowledge and skills and be able to pass them on for many generations. They don't seem to have taken long to mature, and so an Ugnaught entering the workforce could be starting his own family and still directly training under their great-great-great-grandpa who started this business. The infant Ugnaughts are named Ugnaughts, and they are developed under the care of many elders. They have strong communal bonds, as well as strict social norms. They traditionally organize themselves into clans in a tribal hierarchy, and each clan is led by councils of elders known as Terrans, and chaired by elected Ugnaught officers. This hierarchical yet participatory governance has carried over into a multi-species setting. On Cloud City, Ugnaughts maintain representation in the city's Parliament of Guilds, ensuring their voice in local affairs. Their society is structured around the concept of blood professions, that from a young age, Ugnaught children, those Ugnaughts, were taught the family's trade by their parents, and like I said, it could be grandparents, great-great-great-grandparents, etc. So whether it be mechanical engineering, metallurgy, or droid smithing, a profession became a proud family legacy handed down through the generations. The apprenticeship system makes every Ugnaught a master of their craft by the time they reach adulthood, and this all helps to contribute to the species' galaxy-wide reputation as master technicians and tireless laborers. As bounty hunter Din Djarin himself noted,
"The stories of Ugnaughts' skill with smithing droids are legendary. We know that Ugnaughts are considered the hardest working species in the galaxy.
the work they produce is representative of their entire family, with the eyes and reputation of multiple elders all involved in this project, all tied to their reputation. But despite a life often filled with labor, they have a rich culture and set of traditions, but there is a bit of an ugly side to this rigidity. If too many youths are born into a single profession, so more apprentices than they need, clan can invoke an ancient rite called a blood duel. When Ugnaughts reach their 20th year, surplus apprentices in a given trade fought duels, often to the death, with the winner earning the right to inherit that job. This violent custom stands in stark contrast to the Ugnaughts' generally peaceful and practical nature. Most aliens are horrified to hear of this, and there are many places that have made this illegal, though usually what happens in the Ugnaught tunnels stays in the Ugnaught tunnels. Many don't even believe this is true, a result of a sort of positive stereotype of their species, as they are seen as extremely polite and reserved. Proper etiquette when meeting someone involves a respectful, silent bow and waiting for a guttural purring sound, a sort of friendly acknowledgement. The big, happy, grinning, and shouting, excited, kind of flamboyant greetings of other species are seen as highly offensive to them, and it's one of the rare glimpses into their violent side, as there are accounts of those that just spaz out and start chucking tools at visitors, humans who barge into their shop with a big old smile and a shouting of "how's it going?" Their native language is simply called Ugnaught, and to aliens it just sounds like a bunch of grunts and throaty squeals. Though many can speak basic in a rough, gravelly tone, and there are some classic examples of how direct they can be. It's common for them to end declarative statements, showing that a matter is settled and there will be no more debate on it, saying simply,
"I have spoken."
They do have a rich oral tradition, passing down clan stories, folk tales, and technical knowledge but it's all through spoken word, no actual collection of texts. Most of their stories celebrate ingenuity, some clever Ugnaught tinkerer outsmarting problems, or getting the better of some oppressive master. But let's end on their history proper. Evolving on Gentes millions of years ago, the earliest recorded history we have goes back millennia ago, building their first communities in the planet's rugged wastelands. As galactic trade reached into the Ugnaught sector, we do see the first of their tragedies. What will be repeated throughout history is that outsiders enslave and displace Ugnaught clans. Entire tribes were sold into servitude long before the rise of the Galactic Empire. And as a result, Ugnaught diaspora communities appeared on many worlds, from core world ecumenopolises like Coruscant to frontier planets like Lothal. And by the time of the Empire's iron blockade of the Ugnaught sector, shortly after the Battle of Endor, only a few Ugnaught clans still struggled on Gentes, trying to survive in hiding, living like some of their earliest ancestors. Imperial-backed slavers continued to raid the remaining villages. Knowing that they preferred caves, eventually they drove desperate Ugnaught survivors into the swamps. There is one recorded incident where besieged Ugnaughts broadcast a distress signal offering supplies to anyone who would rescue them from Gentes. This call was answered by agents of the Rebel Alliance, who evacuated willing Ugnaught refugees to join the rebellion's cause. And like you'd guess, they put their full work ethic into defeating the Empire. But their homeworld was all but emptied, their people scattered and oppressed unlike ever before. But one of the most interesting chapters of their story comes from Cloud City. Built around 400 years before the Battle of Yavin by the visionary industrialist Ecclesias Fig, hoping to build a floating Tabana gas mining colony, a whole world full of the gas that powers just about everything in the galaxy far, far away. Recognizing the Ugnaughts' prowess, Fig purchased the indentured service of 3 Ugnaught tribes, identified in the records as Botrut, Iskid, and Erden clans, and they would help in Cloud City's construction. He promised them not only wages, but eventual freedom and a stake in the city's profits. The Ugnaught craftsmen labored diligently, helping mine raw materials and assemble the colossal city in the clouds. And true to his word, when Cloud City was completed, Fig granted the Ugnaught workers their freedom and citizenship. The freed Ugnaughts didn't simply blend into the crowd, they built their own enclave within the city, complete with twisting, humid tunnels lit by red glow panels to remind them of home. They even established an Ugnaught homeland of sorts in the Bespin skies, the Ugnaught Surface, its own floating district with its capital of Ugnaught. Grateful for this new beginning, generations of Ugnaughts thrived on Cloud City, becoming the backbone of the city's maintenance guilds and passing their technical expertise to their descendants. By the time of the Galactic Civil War, a large population of Ugnaughts lived and worked in Cloud City. It's believed to be the largest Ugnaught community in the galaxy. They famously tried to melt C-3PO down for scrap, only to be interrupted by a furious Chewbacca, and other Ugnaught technicians operated the carbon freezing chamber that Darth Vader repurposed to freeze Han Solo. The collapse of Imperial rule brought both danger and hope to the Ugnaughts, something that had been building up for decades. Because even during the Clone Wars, General Grievous invaded Gentes in hope of getting more slave labor. Droid slaves apparently weren't enough, but it just shows how coveted these people were for their work ethic and technical expertise. His forces devastated Ugnaught settlements. The Battle of Gentes saw populations rounded up and forced into droid foundries on Geonosis, organic slaves building the droid slaves. Grievous's campaign nearly wiped out the remaining Ugnaughts on their homeworld. Only a few survived that horrific enslavement, though many were rescued later by Jedi-led forces. And like I mentioned before, across both timelines, under the Galactic Empire, Ugnaught slavery continued and was on an even wider scale. They were seen essentially as beasts of burden, animals under Emperor Palpatine's human-centric regime, and they were shipped off all across the galaxy for Imperial work details and the never-ending construction projects. Of course, the long-standing independent Cloud City would come under the Empire's domain, directly under the control of Imperial Captain Hugo Treese, who imposed martial law and enslaved the local Ugnaught population on the one place in the entire galaxy the Ugnaughts felt they were safe. And it was all to further exploit the Tabana mines. But the proud Ugnaughts did not submit quietly. A wealthy Ugnaught known as King Oz rallied many of them to flee Cloud City and take refuge on secret floating platforms in Bespin's atmosphere. Bespin is gigantic, many times the size of Coruscant, and it's all covered in clouds, which makes it difficult for scanners to pierce through, and it's very easy to just put some platform at some random spot and try and hide from Imperial patrols. On these platforms, actually terraformed to mimic the terrain of Gentes, the exiled Ugnaughts plotted to overthrow their oppressors. King Oz's rebels planted a network of hidden bombs throughout Cloud City, forcing a mass evacuation of the metropolis before their sabotage could take innocent lives. But at least the Imperial domination didn't last long. The Battle of Endor was only a year away, and once Imperial forces withdrew and the New Republic liberated Bespin, the Ugnaughts were welcomed back as these beloved, free fellow citizens. Cloud City returned to normal, and the Ugnaught engineers were happily tinkering away at their posts. Many see this entire era as bittersweet. They're intensely proud of how they fought back, but it also saw the greatest loss of Ugnaught life. In the New Republic era and beyond, they continue to show their same old tenacity. Some Ugnaughts would go on to join the New Jedi Order and take up intellectual roles in academia, and famously there's the elderly Ugnaught mechanic named Queel. But no matter where you looked in their entire history, you will always find their indomitable will, fighting the difficulties of nature and then alien oppression, but always strong in the face of any adversity. That's it for the Ugnaught species. Don't forget to check out War Thunder on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or mobile using my links below. New and 6 months inactive users also get a huge bonus pack across PC and consoles. If you've made it this far, please hit that like button. I really do need your help. Subscribe so you don't miss anything, but most important of all, remember, when taking over an entirely artificial floating city, you probably shouldn't turn the engineers against you, and the Force will be with you. Always.